All right, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you're having a wonderful day. You guys liked the Veggie Tales intro last night because I got another show for you today, and I don't even know where to start. I'm telling you, I probably have like 10, 15 different charts. We're going to go into the earnings. We're going to talk about a real big update in terms of the responses, even after hours. It's kind of related to our pricing strategy. And then we got to talk about the first 100 days, all of the updates that we got. And literally, it's kind of blowing my mind right now. But I think we should start with this one. It is the title of the video, and no exaggeration, April, you are about to go green. And if, depending on how green we go, I believe you're about 0.5% away. This will be, in April 2025, the largest rally in 1 month in all of history. I'm not making this up. I wish I was, because it didn't feel like that. It was absolutely crazy. And, oh, yeah, we got the wire up. I always make that mistake. Thank you for that, my brother. Oh, yeah. But no, dude, this is mind-blowing because, again, you're living through history. We've said this in many ways, and we've gone through it. But literally, for you to end positive after having a big decline, this has only happened like 10 times in history. Again, in 2019, 2022, and then 2020, that's when you recently saw it. Again, in April 2020, you guys might have been there for COVID. We were down 13% at one point, and then we finished up 11.9. So we might actually do better than that, believe it or not, considering we were down 15%. And then we are almost about to be green. And again, 2019, you were down 9.6, closed up 7.6. 2022, October, 9.8 down, closed up 7.7. So what you just went through in April, the only one that has been this far, it has been 1973. And again, the end of the first 100 days, Donald Trump doing as bad as Nixon, or almost the only other president that was worse. It is pretty wild. So that was one of the big things. But if you haven't realized where we are at right now, even in the last 6 days, the percentage, this is your biggest rally since 2022. Yeah, and there's a lot of other ones. I think I got one more. I won't ruin it, but we're going to wait. We're going to have to wait, but I'll give you this last one. Where is it? The good old Trump chart. So this is where you guys are at as of now. So you had the drop. Here's compared to 2018. At a couple points we thought we were here. No, we went lower. And this is where this major rally came from. Again, to start off April, bro, is very bad. And to drop that hard and to go up that much, it is absolutely wild. So we got a lot to talk about. I have way more pretty pictures. We're going to recap a couple of the 100-day accomplishments, some pretty pictures. And then we have a lot to talk about with earnings and everything else. The plays, the keys, all of that. So I have that for you. I hope you guys are locked in, loaded, and ready for more earnings. But Charadonia. Oh, good evening. Oh, I have to answer that. Why does it not feel like it? Because that's how it always feels. If you guys haven't realized right now, when you are living through history, it always feels normal. It's always when you look back, bro. Again, word to C.S. Lewis, bro. When you're always in the middle of something, you never realize how big it is until you look back. Oh, my goodness. What up, Dennis, Zay McAllister, Adam, Dago, Coyotes, Zoraj. What's going on, baby? How you doing, Ansel? Good evening, Malcolm, El Trapato, Turbo, Kevin, Dirty Bird. What up, Rami? What up, NRG? What up, Zach? Andre, Forrest, Tyree in the house, Ivy, JG, CS, and what up, baby? How you doing, NRG? What up, Truth XP? Marcus Bryant, Bo, Chills Chase, baby, Tim Whitman, Gus Gazzo, Casas. What's up, baby? What up, Adrian? Rusted Tinfoil. Joanne, Habibi, Rudy, Habibi, James, Dr. James Akash, Habibi, be a doctor. Mama said to be a doctor. He went and bid the doctor. Wow. El Coyote. Oh, what about the Twitch? I see El Coyote on YouTube. That's weird. I'm used to seeing him on Twitch. What up, Lord? What up, Blazing? Blue 42. Stock Sasquatch. Lord Wavy Bone. Blazing Bob. Epic Eric. Senor. Don Juan, Mother Liquor, Payday Devil, Mach. What's up, baby? How y'all living? So I hope y'all feeling good, man. I hope y'all are feeling good, and we have a lot to talk about, so let us not delay. I'm going to try to work it in with the pretty... I have way too many charts to show you. So actually, no. Let's take a step back. Before we talk about the carousel of news today, is how I would describe it for all of my political fans out there. Let's talk about the first 100 days. So there's a couple of things. This is shout out to Zero Hedge. It was a mix of Zero Hedge and Goldman. They put this out here. But these charts I thought were quite interesting because I really wasn't aware of it up until now. And what this chart is showing you is that Trump, by day 99, has signed more executive orders than anybody in history. The only other time you had this amount of executive orders was the New Deal, FDR. And again, the only other person that signed this many executive orders served more than 2 terms. So, yeah, either way, you could see where Biden was at. And I thought it was interesting because, Biden kind of felt like he was on a tear, and Biden came out the gates even bigger than FDR, if you guys remember. And then something happened after, like, the first month. He started hiding, and then that's it. And then it was, like, little by little. And I thought that was interesting, but there was that part of it, and some people were talking about this because this either highlights that you have a president who is like, yeah, we're making changes. We're coming out the gate, baby. And he's all like, this is a very big signal if you're like, wow, this is a lot of change. That's a lot of executive orders. However, we have read a lot of economic books, right? So tell me, what is the reverse of this? So yeah, could this be a sign? And does this show that the president wants to make big change and that he is going out? Yeah, he is working. I think this is good evidence of it. And I think it highlights that, Donald Trump has a plan. I think Donald Trump really is shooting and he is trying to do something, bro. But what is the other point of this? So that's the good part if you want to look at it good. But how would you view this negatively? And sadly, I think you have to acknowledge this reality because of everything going on. The reverse is that it also highlights a lot of instability. This highlights weak state strength. This highlights somebody who might be exerting a lot of control. And why would you need to do all of this if things were stable? So that's the counter argument to what I just told you. Am I aware of both arguments? I am. I hope you are too. So this was a very important chart, and I thought that was very interesting. And now this is another interesting one. So far, out of all of those, 150 executive orders, you have about 8 or so that have been blocked. Ironically enough, are you ready for this? Out of all of these executive orders, and people have made big deals about firing, DEI, deportations, transgender issues, funding in universities, Doge data access, right? All of this, right? Would you, I don't know how important these things are to some of you. But here's the deal. These are showing you what was blocked and what was allowed. Here's the executive order. Here is 1, 2, 3, 4 that are temporarily blocked, 1 temporarily allowed, 1 decision pending, and then 1 that has been allowed. So what is funny about it? Something's funny about this chart. I hope you see it. Because I don't know what is important to you, but I know what you have heard about more than anything. And out of all of these, this was one of the only ones that was temporarily allowed. So let's go to the one thing they allowed was for people to resign. Deferred resignation. The court allowed that, right? But look at this one. Temporary allowed. I'm going to draw it back for you. Are you ready? What do you think? The one that the judges were like, all right, sure, you could do that. You already know, bro. The IEEPA Tariff Authority. So I thought that was very ironic, but because he's had major court issues. And again, Joe Biden, he didn't have to deal with this. And, given the amount of executive orders, it kind of makes sense you would get some challenges. But I thought this was hilarious because, the thing we're scared of, the thing everybody's talking about, everything. That was the judges were like, nah, we're cool with that one. Nah, let him tariff it at 130 executive. Yeah. So I thought that was important. And then I'll end it here with 2 more surprising ones. This one. Do you realize what this chart is showing you? So prior to even Trump stepping into office, he had an impact. And then by the middle of January, it was almost virtually zero. What chart are you looking at? Oh, it already says it. I should have hit it. This is the border crossings. So why should you care about this? Is it because you are a racist and you want to deport everybody? No, you are listening to the child of an immigrant now. I hope you're not like that, you prick. But here's the deal. This is important because, like I've told you, we have, throughout this year, we probably had 3 or 4 different instances where we prepared for a big update from President Trump, and then guess what happened? He would talk about immigration. It would be all about immigration. Actually, today, they put up signs on the White House lawn of all of the people that they deported that committed murder or heinous crimes, because they were getting mad that the media was not even talking about this, because they put it where all of the press reporters on the White House, they put it where all of their shots would be, so they had to talk about it. And even then, some of them kind of refused to talk about it. But why am I bringing this up to you in a market sense? So like I'm saying, I know we have talked a lot about politics. Welcome to ideological modern world. But at the end of the day, your market view, I view this as mission accomplished to a certain degree. And I think this is good because Trump has made a very big point about this. And now, bro, the border crossings are virtually zero right now. The encounters, I'm actually shocked. We have never seen anything like this at the border ever. So homeboy made it a goal. I think he's actually gotten real progress here. Will this allow Trump to move on? That is something I'm going to hopefully be looking for. And we'll see whether or not this comes back up and whether or not you have to deal with the problem. And then finally, I don't really like this chart because people are using this chart to defend Doge. And they're showing that so far at the start of the 100 days, Donald Trump has fired more federal workers than any president going back to Reagan. So that's both good and bad. And we talked about it a little bit yesterday with the deficits and government demand. So I think this one was very, very interesting. So that is your first 100 days. And we're going to talk about this again on the keys because, I'm giving you some of the stuff that people are thinking about, but we do got to really start talking about this from the market zone. If you guys are only taking this politics to argue on Twitter, I hate to break it to you, that is not helpful. And, you can take in all of this stuff, and I want you to view it how Wall Street is viewing it, because Wall Street doesn't really give a shit. If you haven't realized, that's why we've been playing all these games. That's why some of the moves like Europe and dollar exceptionalism, exuberance, humiliation, that's why those were telegraphed. You know what I'm saying? Again, when I'm about to show you 20 years of history on the euro today, and we could talk about that as well. So I want you to understand how Wall Street and money is viewing this political pretty much craziness that we are in right now, not to mention the whole entire economy. So that being said, now let's talk a little bit about what happened today. It was a carousel of news. We started off hearing about a car deal, tariff reprieve. Then we started hearing about India. Then Besant was like, no deal with China. I don't know if we're going to do a deal with China. And, saying all this, a lot of vague stuff. And it was crazy because the car tariff news came back around 3 times today. You heard it once, and then it would add more details. It'd come back around. You heard it again. And then you already reacted. Then you'd come back around one more time. And then Financial Times would hit it and be like, oh my gosh, tariffs, cars. And long story short, they're putting a 2-year break on the whole tariff thing, or giving car makers about 2 years to make a plant in the U.S., which was really good news. That was a really big off-ramp. And then there was deals or news about a trade deal with India. First, CNBC, they were like hinting at it. And then Howard Lutnick came on. And right before Lutnick, one of the guys was like, somebody said that there was a trade deal or Trump was going to make an announcement about the economy tonight. Then we started ripping, and then Lutnick came on, and then he pretty much finalized it. And then again, the news came back around here. Financial Times reiterated it, and then that was pretty much it. So very, very interesting day when it was all said and done, but there was one piece of news that came out today. So lock in. The news was an update on the chip restrictions. We found out that apparently they are working on some sort of deal to roll back the Biden-era chip ban and do it on a country-by-country basis. This information is new. I don't think we were privy to this or had this prior, and it was funny because today was so small and the movement was so minor, you didn't really feel it. So do you see what I have written on this screen right now? We have a lot of events. Even tomorrow, we're going to talk about it. Still got some earnings. There's a lot happening, right? This is we're either going to respond to this by the end of the week, or hear me out. Don't be surprised if you respond to this news a week from now. Maybe we don't, maybe we do, but I want you to understand some of the dynamic that we have been going through. Do you understand? This has happened 2 weeks in a row where we will hear new information in a flurry of old news that everyone keeps just jerking around, and we're like, okay, but then one piece of info will be new, right? It's like the DeepSeek delay, but think the Powell delay. Again, even think about Besant and starting off this week. It was there. I've seen so many, even the India deal. We were early on that one and still a delay. So just keep in mind, even the pharmaceutical stuff. These are all just coming off the top of my head. So think about that, because if we start to get more developments in certain areas, just watch out. If the market's not moving, bear market rally, you just experienced the best rally in history, amongst other things. Just be mindful that we're still in a weird market. And if new information comes out, don't fade it immediately. You got to find a way to track this shit. You see what I'm saying? I need you to juggle a couple of things, because one of these days you might just wake up on a Monday and be like, wait, we're reacting to something that happened on Wednesday. Well, that's the market you've been in over this last crazy month. So keep that in mind. But these were all the developments today, and now it's going to lead in to the data, earnings, and getting the end of April and seeing what we really close in on, man. So watch out for that. But now, going back to the politics, but I want it more market-related for you guys. So the first 100 days is over. I told you about this in advance. We were saying how important this was going to be. I don't think it disappointed in the sense of wildness, but it definitely was not as good as some people thought it would be, or as good as we started in the first month. So why is this important? Because people knew he was going to do a lot in the 100 days. We were anticipating it. I was telling you guys, get ready, man. It's going to be wild. It's kind of surreal that the first 100 days of Trump's final term is over. But what have been the major themes that we have walked away with? So I've already showed you the political shit, right? But now let's talk about the market. I think the number one major theme right now at the end of the 100 days, what is going on with this trade war, mainly China and that big embargo issue that we are currently in. How is that going to play out? And then number two, Europe. The outperformance, our relations damaged, is the exceptionalism turned to humiliation, and now is Europe and the stimulus and changing the world. Is that going to be the trade for Trump? You have to really think about that. Again, you just watched a wicked degrossing of U.S. assets and a fucking rush to European assets. And Europeans started doing stuff they haven't done since the Berlin Wall. You got damn BlackRock and Larry Fink all about Europe. And again, I told you this all in advance. So you knew about this in December of last year, November even before the election. We talked about this trade, and it happened. So this is the number one theme right now, I would say, when it's all said and done. This trade war, the effective rate, the implementation, the scenarios, all of that. What happens with China? Is China a failed economy, or are they going to hold up? Are they going to work with us? And then is Europe now going to take advantage of this opportunity? Is Europe going to be the exceptionalism? Is that the best place to put your money? Is that the best place to hedge? That's, again, it ties into the dollar, and we'll talk about that. But that Europe outperformance and everywhere else, America falling behind, this has been the major theme as we have gone through this 100 days in decline. It wasn't like that in the beginning. We knew there would be a trade war. We knew there would be China, and it started off slow, but by day 100 here, this is the number one thing on people's mind that is getting them to ignore hard data, getting the Fed and everybody to act wild. This is your number one. Number two now, inflation or hard landing. So after all of these reactions in the 100 days, policy, all the fear, the lies, the propaganda, the truth, and the truth that was scary, like even 150% effective tax rate or tariff rate. That's bad, you know? This brought up other worries. And number 2 was inflation and hard landing. You know, people were like, whoa, what do you mean people don't understand tariffs? Yes, it will lead to price increase, but it's temporary. But people didn't believe that. And they're like, oh my God, inflation, it's going to come back. What's going to happen? Even though inflation is the lowest since 2021, it's going to come back. Oh my gosh, tariffs. And then, oh my gosh, Doge, firing. Washington, D.C. Oh my gosh, what happens? The economy's going to drop. Even Powell's talking about jobs declining. And then that's when they'll start to cut. The inflation, hard landing, this has been theme number 2. You know what I'm saying? This is where people have really been, okay, we could talk about details with trade. We could talk China, Europe. But then next thing is, okay, what about inflation? And then if it's not inflation, is it going to be a growth scare? Is it going to be stagflation? This has been the second major theme you really can't avoid, and you're probably going to come into this moving forward. And then finally, Bitcoin, the dollar, and gold. So this one's pretty obvious. Why? Bitcoin, number 1. They did the best. Dollar started off as the best. And I told you guys at the beginning of the year that the dollar will be key. I told you this. But we all thought it was going to stay strong. And it didn't. But even then, the dollar weakness is still very important. You know, dollar going extreme in either direction has major macroeconomic implications. So that's something. And then your good old gold. Are you hedging central banks, the world, uncertainty, what's going on? That was another major theme that has come up. So I could show you guys now a couple of charts because with that being said, I've kind of given you the word rundown, but let's look at some of it, you know? And this chart is probably one of my favorites because like I'm telling you, these major themes that I just showed you, they have allowed you to ignore hard data. You have some of the best economic data on real hard economic data you have seen in 2 or 3 years, believe it or not. However, you don't feel that way, and people are worried, and soft data is collapsing. So why, you guys got to realize, am I an enemy of soft data? I'm not, because sometimes when soft data plummets, it's usually a leading indicator. You know, from March, what was this? Was this March 23? I think so, or no, this was 24. You know, soft data collapsed, the market caught up with it eventually, and then it recovered. So it makes sense why people gave attention to it. You know what I'm saying? But what else? There's also been times where soft data collapsed and people felt miserable and nothing happened. You know when that was? That was the banking crisis. So, you know, and that should tell you something. But this is where I'm saying this has been a major dynamic. You could take the major themes I just showed you, and I think this chart kind of reflects how different the market really has been and what people are actually focusing on. And now, you guys are going to love this one. Are you ready? This one kind of blew my mind. Do you know what this chart is? It says it on there, but I still like asking you. You know that? I'm a trivia fan, if you haven't noticed. This, my friends, in the gray dotted line, that is the price of gold. In blue, that is the Google searches of, quote, buying gold. This is phenomenal. I didn't realize it was exploding like this. You know that? Mind-boggling. And then I like this chart. You know why? You guys remember when I told you I bought gold? I bought gold right here. Remember I told you, I was like, I got it around $1,000 an ounce. It was around when China collapsed. August 2015 leading into 2016. I was scared of things. I was young still. I was early reading Zero Hedge, and I was like, oh my God, the world's going to end. And then again, at that point, that was a huge surge in buying gold at the time, believe it or not. And that's where I got gold. But I didn't realize that. Are you ready for this? Bro, it took 5 years for the Google trends to break that point. And that's where it broke out again. And then are you ready? Bro, it took another 5 years to break almost again. So that's what happened here at the beginning of the year, bro. that trend or that like phenomena, it broke out again. So either way, this has just been a wild moment for gold. Again, with the dollar, the Dow, everything. It's very interesting. But, you know, you have more people talking about gold and interested in gold than ever before. So Peter Schiff is loving it. And now here's the other chart. So like I said, the euro. In this, I was saying this earlier in the week. I'm glad I found a chart to show you. Because I was on stream and I was telling you guys, Europe's an interesting place right now. But I was telling you how this whole Europe outperformance isn't new. So what if I told you over the last 20 years or so, we have done this several times. But this is why people make fun of Europe, because this isn't their first shot, you guys. You know that? That's why I'm kind of disappointed in some people who are like, oh my God, our relations will never be the same. I'm like, you guys just don't understand history. Quite frankly, you do not know the tree that you come from. It never breaks out. I'm telling you, for most of my life, Europe has done this consistently. Anybody in finance, the adage is that Europe is always, they get into position and then they're waiting to strike. 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 I'm not glitching. They're waiting. That's what it is. That's the joke. That's a joke about Europe anytime it does this. Because this is what always happens. It gets depressed. It underperforms. Problems happen. And then you're like, what the fuck? These European assets look amazing. And look at the dollar, the euro. And then everybody rushes to it, right? And then you buy it, and then it seems like everything's going to be like amazing and good, and then it just never materializes, ever. So look at this chart is showing you pretty much anytime the euro gets plummeted, has a massive rally, and usually these are times where America is doing very bad. That's why I'm saying nothing new under the sun. But anytime it rallies and gets to like a technical or a past support level or even just its moving average, it fails. Every time since the 2000s, pretty much. This chart goes all the way back to 2005, 20 years ago. So like I'm saying, it drops, people run to it, 2008, 2009, and they're like, yeah, this is going to, okay, yeah, maybe screw America, mortgage crisis, it'll never do it, it stays, but it never does it, right? And then it does it again 2 years later, QE, Operation Twist. Oh my, and then this time it holds for a little bit, but then it fails. 2013, 2014, then it fails miserably. Then this is China, and then again, it's done this every single time. These times, this is where from like the last decade, people got really bearish on Euro because it stopped doing this. And then China, and then QE, and everything else that changed, Euro started getting bad, then Trump comes into office. What do you think this is? This is Trump. And then Trump comes in, they break out, hit the level, fail. Biden, fail. Trump, let's see. So there could still be upside, but I'm not. That's what I'm saying. Like, listen, I am not a European hater. I fucking got my girlfriend from there, dog. What you saying? You know, stop playing with me. But I just don't trust it. That's all. So if this actually breaks out, awesome. This is going to be a move. But at the end of the day, there's nothing new under the sun. This isn't fresh. You know, I can't be exuberant, and I don't want Europe to fail. I hope some of you don't get that attitude, because I've been talking this shit, trying to explain it to people, and they're like, well, and you know, you think I would hate Europe. I don't. I hate getting fucking cucked. Do you see what I'm saying? I hate having opportunity that never materializes. So that's what I hate. I hate sitting in something and then it doesn't fucking move. So that's what you got to be careful for when it comes to this European trade. It's one of the major themes. They are taking advantage of our failure, right? You know, no problem with that. But they have to capitalize. You see what I'm saying? Right now, you got the gift of Trump putting you into the lead if you're Europe. But anytime this has happened in the last 2 decades, they have failed to capitalize on it in the long run. It has not led to better profits, better government, better business, more tech, nothing. So we will see. But that's one that I thought was very, very fascinating. And then I got a couple more charts, but we might have to work these into the plays, okay? So, I'm still not done with the keys. I told you guys today's going to be a very long one. I have a bunch of fucking data to dump on you. I'm not even done. We're not even halfway done. So, that was key number 2, okay? Now, key number 3, tomorrow. So, we'll go back to some of the broad factors. Remember what I told you earlier. But tomorrow is going to be the big day because of earnings, but hear me out. We don't get too jumpy. I get too jumpy. Even to this day, I still get jumpy. You know me. So here's the deal. Although the big earnings start tomorrow, in reality, all the action is probably going to happen on Thursday and Friday. Do you understand? Because tomorrow, we're going to get some data in the morning. You already see how fast and slow the market can move, especially when it's slow. Even though there could be a lot of uncertainty, it doesn't have to move big. That's what some people have learned recently. So if all the earnings are after the bell, we're going to spend 7 hours tomorrow all talking about it, but the market may not go crazy. And then after the bell, and then we get the whole next news cycle from earnings to Trump and overnight, and then Thursday morning, we're really getting the juice. Okay? Oh, is it the fucking last day? Is there only 30 days in April? Oh, it is. Yeah. Oh, man. So maybe it is a little crazier. Yeah, you're right. That might add to more, but just be cautious because we do this a lot where we're like, oh, the event. But if the event is after the bell, it's usually going to be a delayed one till tomorrow. So keep your eyes out for that. But other than that, the events, GDP is the big one for tomorrow. So in the morning, we're going to get GDP data and then PCE. So I'm telling you right here, GDP. Everybody has chosen Wall Street. I don't like it. I think this is stupid. Why? Because you're eventually what's going to happen, like 2 years from now, motherfuckers are going to look at GDP data and then be like, how come the market doesn't go up on GDP? I thought it's supposed to. It's because Wall Street hates you. That's what they do. So they find data sets that fit their narrative, and then they hype it up for a period. And then when it no longer serves its purpose like Biden, you replace it with Kamala. So I hope you get that, because GDP, you have ignored it for many, many quarters in a row. But as of lately, again, hard landing, the themes with trade and all of that, this is a big one, and people are sensitive to it. So this is the big one tomorrow. That's wild, dude. You know why? Because tomorrow's inflation. Think about it. That's what I'm telling you. So my jokes are harsh, I know, but at the end of the day, I as somebody who values the data and has spent so much time trying to show people, bro, tomorrow is PCE inflation. What do you watch? Everyone's going to react way more to the GDP, though, sadly. Even though inflation is probably more important as of now, and the GDP is massively lagged. And generally, prior to this last couple months, when was the last time you traded off of GDP? Because I used to look at GDP in 2015, and they would make fun of me. Yeah. So you never do. So, but either way, this is the big event tomorrow, and I would watch out for that. So keep your eyes out for that. And now, I don't know how to start this, bro. So I've gotten that chart, showed you that chart, but we got to get into the plays. But, oh yeah, I'll show you at the end. So I'm going to go through 3 plays, and then I'm going to end it with another set of pretty pictures. Sound good? So just like I did here, where I kind of like, because that way I could give you all of the details, and then I could bounce to the chart, And then when we go over the chart, you have a lot more context, and then I could throw more shit in there. Welcome to ADHD. But at the end of the day here, I do have a couple of plays, but we got to talk broader strategy, and we have to talk about earnings. So right off the bat, I'll just start with the first one, India. So again, everyone's talking about this, and they're saying this is probably going to be the first big trade deal, but I haven't made a play on this. It's still holding up. I think this is actually, it's getting weird now, because I told you earlier, and like I said, I looked at it after I told you guys, it's very difficult to play. So if any of you have better ideas on how the fuck we could play India, the floor is yours, my friend. For real. And comment it if you're on the recap. And maybe we talk about this tomorrow. Not leaps. It's just like I feel like it's not how we need to play. We need the right. INDA should be it. But it just, these ETFs fucking blow, dude. We might have to just find what they really hold in there. But look, because I was showing you last week, I'm like, look, these candles aren't normal. Do you got like one of these is not like the other? Like, do you see how decisively wide and more like these candles look like they're filled with life? These candles just look like they're following the motions. I don't know if you guys, again, at looking on the multi-year chart, you could kind of see what I'm talking about. You know? These ETFs don't fucking move, dude. Nobody really cares about them, right? It just does its thing, you know, but like right here, ever since these trade rumors, it got wild. Yeah, Tata. Yeah, right? That would be it. Tata Motors, you used to be able to trade it. I don't think you can anymore. After 2014 airbag crisis. I think I remember that. But I want a move on this, but it's very hard. But why am I so curious about it now? Because, dude, you have this deal coming up, but do you realize that at the same time, it literally, in India, it's actually getting really bad. However, the equities are not going down. Bro, you're watching massive terror attacks, mobilization of armies, and you're having the cutting off of resources. That just goes to show how fucked up everybody is because you don't see people posting that as their profile picture. But that's another topic, right? So think about that. But the whole point is the stocks are not responding to a potentially very negative scenario. So I think people are looking for the bull with the trade deal. And I want exposure to it. It's been hard to find. I showed you this last week. It didn't move. It still stayed pinned. So we will see where that leads. But that is play number one. Play number two now. Are you ready? Starbucks. I don't know dude, the options, and we got to talk a little bit about it. I don't know how it's going to play tomorrow. The market is hella weird. And again, you are literally in the middle of the best rally in history. Starbucks was terrible, Chad. So this is just my personal opinion. Last time I had this personal opinion, we made 2,000%. Now, past performance is not indicative of future performance. So I might whiff. Maybe we bring too much attention to this and it doesn't play out. This was a terrible earnings for Starbucks. They did good in China. They did good in international. The part that is scaring me, Starbucks has not had a streak of same-store sales declines in North America in over 24 years. And it is only getting worse. I am shocked. So it didn't react a little bit. By the end of the call, they were down 5%. I'm going to be watching this one tomorrow morning. Because you could blame whatever you want. I don't know. I just know that it's objectively bad. And I talked about it today because I'm like, I just think it's I don't know, man. It's like some of you guys who need to like break up with your girlfriend, but you have like weird things holding you back. You like just don't want to explain it to your mom or something. I don't know. Or you don't want your homies to find out you're really never mind. But the end of the day, what I mean is that I think the Chipotle CEO has fucked all of this up. Why? Because it just has an odd premium for no reason. It took about almost, 6 months to give it all back up because they were doing bad. This was the last time we banked on it. Last time they had bad same-store sales, we banked. And again, a year ago today, it got worse. Do you see what I'm saying? So comparative sales dropped, and then they still missed that quarter. So, yeah, the CEO change, if you got it, people liked it for a little bit. But all I'm saying is just at a core level, this is probably the worst performance for Starbucks in 20 years, 25 years. So be on the lookout for it tomorrow. I think it should move more. They're not really a big mover, but I already have puts. I only have like $100 worth or 50. It's really not that much. And I'm glad I've kept it small, bro. And I'm so glad because last week we had a couple of whiffs. We still got some 1,000%ers, but this week got some small plays, but there was definitely ripe for more whiffing. But I'm glad I slowed it down so heavy, and I'm so happy that I did. And we're going to talk about that and some other things. And now let's talk about the final play, man. SPY. Okay? So, yeah. Oh, if Starbucks goes down, I would add it to the long term. Yeah, see, that's the problem. I want the worst performance in 20 years. I want it to give me a price tag that reflects it. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I'm going to sign a 15-year-old Shaq to my team, I don't want to pay MVP price. You know what I'm saying? I don't even want to pay 5-year price. I want you give me like a discount, I'll take that shit. You know what I'm saying? So I like Starbucks. I'm a big fan of it. But it unfortunately, that's why I'm like the CEO thing. It kind of gassed it up a little too much for no reason, and that's why it just took 6 months to fade. But at the end of the day, it's still not too cheap because at one point that just was at $60 or something close. So we'll find out. But other than that, now SPY. So end of the week might be the move, like I was telling you. And what I mean is last week, I got this feeling today because, again, I think I hit a Tesla. We hit some other small ones. But what I saw, it felt like last week. Remember last week where I told you that one day where I was like, damn, my NVIDIAs are in the money and I'm only up $20 or something. And then I told you I was like a Tesla, only up 20%. Yeah, next day the Tesla went up 1,000%. Next day, the NVIDIAs went $11 higher, dollars on option pricing. It was like a lag and then just a rip. That's what today kind of felt like. If you're banking on that, you're going to get robbed. I don't know. That's why I'm saying you get that feeling, but just be on the lookout. On some of these small weeks, we might be moving to a mode where, bro, don't trade Monday to Wednesday, and sadly, Thursday, Friday might just be where you get your moves. If we're moving slow. That's what I've noticed. Because last week, useless. You could have showed up late and made more money. If you did less, position less, you would have done better. So I'm glad I went smaller, but there were some plays that were right there, bro. There were some good plays, but I was like, dude, they didn't. And then by the time it moves and they're still not moving, but if we get a big move tomorrow, Thursday, Friday, you'll kind of see what I'm talking about. Even if tomorrow stalls, just watch for the big premium to kind of get unlocked by the end of the week. That's kind of something I'm looking for if we start getting these 1 week crazy, 1 week slow. 1 week crazy, 1 week slow. Red light, green light. This is kind of a one theme, but it's hard to put a finger on it. But I have been noticing it. And then in the money versus out the money. On some of these news pops, out the monies today died. It was actually kind of cool to watch. And I'm going to show you some charts related to some other things. But it was cool to watch because I saw literal news rumors pop up a stock 4%. Outed the monies, like the 2 standard deviation, 3, they didn't move. It was amazing. They did not move at all. And then the contracts near the money shot up 20, 30%. Why that's fascinating, because the market makers, they didn't even try to scam you. That's why I'm so fascinated. Oh, y'all don't feel me. Do you get it? So that's what I'm saying. There was a news pop, rumor, the equity was moving, but they weren't even moving the asks. It was just staying. And then the ones near the money were actually reacting. So very interesting dynamic there. So be on the lookout. Again, if it's slow, remember, don't forget this. Because it's easy to you hit a couple of out the monies, and it's easy to like those. And you're like, oh yeah, but just don't forget. If you're in the middle of the market only doing in the money plays, you got to remember that. That's not going to help you. Because then if you get the next set of news and you're prepared right, but then you go out of the money and that's one of those days it's not going to benefit you as much and expose you to more potential to lose. So you got to watch out for that. But I thought that was very fascinating. So other than that, though, man, patience in going small. So I'm glad, but there was definitely, I hit a 40%er on the SPY, 80 on Tesla. But there's a couple plays like Amazon. I didn't make that play. I kept it on watch, but I'm glad. I did the call one. That one didn't hit. It was only $10. Again, I did Starbucks, about $50 both way. I lost on that, lost on UPS. None of the earnings are hitting, and that's what I'm going to show you. We hit Tesla, surprisingly. I hit a 12,000%er today, but it didn't count. I only had one of them, literally $1 to $12. So 12,000%. I don't know. It's hard to explain. I think it went to 120 at one point, and then it settled at 12. But it was insane. But the whole point was keep it small. You'll be good. And I'm glad I did. But at the end of the day, it's like small. Just don't forget that. Because when they start raking in the chips, they start changing the dynamic. And they're, one day it moves, one day it doesn't. Your problem might have been selling earlier. This, that. No, but remember, don't get lulled into submission. Don't get lulled into throwing this money out. And you know what I'm saying? And like, news, yeah. And then before you know it, they just rob you. Because again, if they pump fake us, fake news, this, that, whatever, the small balances are going to protect you. So I hope that helps. But now, are you ready for more pictures? So with all those plays and all that info I just gave you on the SPY, let's start with my first one, my favorite one. This right here blows my mind. Because like I'm telling you, options, out of the money is weird. Earnings plays have been weird. Dude, this is crazy. Because you remember at the beginning of the year how I was showing you how the skew index was lagging and how we were declining. So you were declining, the VIX would rocket up, but skew wouldn't. You remember that? The VIX would go up, but people were not buying out of the money options. You remember that, right? Okay, are you ready for this? Guess what's happening now? I'm chalking this up to history, bro. This is just because this is fucking insane. Now, the VIX is the lowest it's been in months or weeks, but the skew is holding up. You can't make this shit up, bro. So now, as we're 20% or what, now 10% lower. So now, the out of the monies are holding, the out of the money put crash protection is holding up. Calls too. Meanwhile, the actual VIX and everything else is declining in volatility. Fascinating. So that's what I was saying, man. You got to get ready because you might either just, maybe they'll come in tandem, maybe it'll level out, but 1 week, 2 weeks where you're just like on the wrong side, that's where it could change kind of everything right in front of you. So, yeah, very, very wild. There has been other times, but very few and far between. I guess you could say kind of at the, was this 2025, I think? Which quarter? I think that was it last year. Yeah, Q3 last year, pretty much. We had this again, I think the last time we had some of those declines. But if this one, the way it played out was very fascinating. And you've already made one of the most historic moves already. So there was that chart. I already showed you gold and the euro. For my bond people, this is good for you. Because do you guys realize the 10-year has came back a lot now? So I don't think we're out of the danger zone just yet. You could bounce up and get rid of this, but this is a good sign. It's very good that yields are coming back down. Like I've told you from the beginning of the year, anytime the yields go higher, we have a fucking problem. Anytime they go lower, great. But now this is where it gets better. You know why? Because what is this chart showing you? It is showing you that potentially the correlation between yields and oil may return. Because if you didn't know, there actually is some level of correlation. We've talked about this years ago, I think during Biden in Ukraine. Because literally when oil goes down, so do yields. When oil goes up, so do yields. The lifeblood. Ta-da! Yeah, it does sound familiar. And now this is coming back. So That could be another one, but just take it with a grain of salt. I don't trust it. Again, just too much volatility, bear market rally. We need something to really be, time will be the judge. It has to do something and hold a correlation for a long time before you start feeling comfortable again. So there was that. And now, here's the other chart. Are you ready? This is the week of earnings. So right now, this week is the biggest week for earnings. Do you realize that? So, by the end of this week, you have 8% of the S&P reporting. Then after that, it's pretty much over. So this is the top week. After this, everybody is able to buy back again. And ta-da. So, that's good, right? But now, here's the problem. Are you ready for the problem? Are you ready? This has been one of the most disappointing earnings in 20 years. So what this chart is showing you is the frequency of S&P surprises above one standard deviation. And it's showing you the beats and the average move in basis points. But long story short, if you're beating earnings, you're not moving. You're going less than average in the last 25 years. So you're getting punished. But even if you miss, you're not even getting punished. So even the misses aren't even doing as bad. And it's so fucking mediocre. It's crazy. And people are talking about this. Wall Street is, I don't know if people maybe people picked up on the strategies and other things. And then again, though, history, Trump, all of it. But at the end of the day, this earnings season is just if you do good, there's no real reaction. Even if you do bad, it's so skewed. And it's just highlighting that there's other things more important to people right now. And there's other positioning that is causing other things and kind of moving all of this. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of wild, but now here is some good data for you. So, you guys know my earnings strategy. I don't like other people. I hate them, actually. That's why I had to seek the Lord and find a way to, connect with my brothers and find a way to realize it. But I hate Wall Street people, dude. I really do. I do. I really do, man. I'm telling you, especially, even then. Man, let me show you. Fuck it. Before I explain this to you, I'm just going to call out some dog shit. You see? And because it's a lot of stuff that just, yeah, man. And I've seen people defend the suits. Where is it? I'm going to go to my Twitter. Yeah, look. This one right here. You said, Josh, I remember when you were free 99. You changed. Well, listen, fucking Peter. Look at Peter. So Peter, he posted videos. He'll retweet Gervais. He'll post stock guy here. Another stock guy. All of this. You ain't retweeted me, showed love in 2 years. You just complained to me. That has been the story of it. So, again, this is why I hate Wall Street. Because I think y'all work for Wall Street. I think y'all take in a lot of stuff. Y'all hit me with the complaining. Meanwhile, you pump and promote all these people selling shit. And that's the stuff you're supporting. And that's the stuff you promote. And all of that. And so I'm all saying this because despite my just avarice towards these people, I think they're on to something. See, and I listen. And I picked up on something Goldman Sachs was putting down, and I liked it. And I found a way to tie it into my strategy. So now I'm going to steal their shit, and I'm going to show you how to use it. Ta-da! So, this is from Goldman Sachs. Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Here is all of their earnings breakdown. Every industry, reporting date, implied move, all this stuff I would do for you, but then they have something here. It tells you the year to date, so save this if you want. I'll go through. I believe this is for Oh, no, that's April 30th. Yeah, that's tomorrow. Mm-hmm. So here's the deal, though. This is what you want. Because all this I taught you. All this I taught you, and everybody knows about it now. Even Goldman. I mean, again, this is what they send to their private clients. You realize that. Like I'm saying, some people would complain and get mad at me, but the work I would do for you guys on stream with that tutorial, they would just type it up and send it to their private clients. It's worth a lot of money. But they notice this, right? They notice this chart and they're saying, bro, this is a fucked up earnings season. You feel me? They're like, this is a messed up earnings season. And then they created their own little thing and they determined it based off of positioning. So pretty much if it has a low number, it's highly shorted. And if it has a high number, it's highly crowded. But pretty much the high positioning, extreme positioning stocks, though, yeah, you could screenshot this. Go ahead. But that is going to be, they're saying those are the ones that have gotten more outsized moves. And I think that's pretty fascinating. So that's where I think it's quite interesting. Because then what they're saying, like hypothetically, let's find the highest one I've seen is 7. So that's for Wednesday. So here, did you already screenshot this? Do you guys have it? Maybe I have to make it smaller, but I want you to get all of it. Because this is for tomorrow. Oh, shit. There's so many. So I'll zoom in all the way up until Caterpillar. Okay. Oh, no, I can't. So all the way to Generac. So screenshot. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Generac to CTSH. Screenshot. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And you guys could always just come back on the video. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to do anything crazy. And then here's the final ones. So again, these are all for tomorrow. And I want to test what they're doing. You see what I'm saying? Because I already have my strategy. And again, you hear people talking one standard literally. They have fucking charts for it now. And everything else. So let's see if this actually hits. Because I want to see. And what they're saying is extreme positioning. The higher numbers are more likely to move low key or lower. Extremely low, extremely high. But now you see these numbers like 4, 4, 5. Fuck them. They're all in the middle. Not too shorted, not too bought. That's why they're not getting crazy reactions. You see what I'm saying? So we'll see how this plays out. But, I mean, this is our work that, the pricing in. But now let's tie this in. I want to see what they're doing. That's what I'm saying. I'm paying attention. And I don't like to follow people, and I don't like to. But this caught my attention because it's a really bad earnings season. So I want to see if we can figure out something else. So Skyworks is a 1. That means it's heavily shorted. Or, yeah, SWK, Black & Decker. I think they made a big move, no? I thought we saw one the other day. Yeah, so 1, a low number is heavily shorted. High number is heavily crowded. But the idea is take advantage, the pretty much extreme positioning, that's what's causing the big earnings moves. That's it. And nothing else is. That's what I'm saying. You could be good and go down. You could go bad and go up. You could go good and go 0.001, or go really terrible, cut guidance like UPS and barely move. You see what I'm saying? So this is kind of creating this, it's creating a very odd dynamic where, again, you're probably going to get burned on earnings. We have a strategy that works very well. I want to see if this is going to take it to the next level. Or is this what we do when earnings doesn't work? Or if it's just fucked up history mode, this might be the answer. Let's put it to the test. So that's for Wednesday. Are you guys ready? There's more. Y'all thought we were done? Nope. Here's the next day. So that was for Wednesday. Here is Thursday. So MA to GWW, 5 seconds to screenshot. Again, if you miss it, just come back to the recap and you could somebody tag it for somebody. But yeah, MA to GWW, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. WCC down to BPMC. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then that's the rest. Roblo down to Airbnb. See, look. This makes sense. So, like, Airbnb is not going to do shit like it always does. You know why? It's right in the middle. You see what I'm saying? Just look at some of these companies and the ones that we have played, you know? And just, like, look at it and see if it matches up. So the ones that you're like, oh, that never moved. You're like, what the fuck? You know? See, Roblo is a little lower, but Roblo does that too. Remember, you know how much money I've made selling covered calls on after every Roblo earnings? I think I made like 15, 20K off of that on those Roblo shares. I made half the money back by just doing that. Literally. Because after earnings, it would pop and then come right back down to break even. Yeah, so if it's a 2, it'll have a bigger chance of a reaction. If it's a 8 or a 7, bigger chance. We're looking for extreme positioning to cause an extreme earnings moves. Are you understanding? That's what we're looking for, because here's the hypothesis. No matter what the data is, the companies are not reacting how they should. There is no correlation to the earnings right now. Literally, I have data to prove it statistically. So that's the hypothesis. So we need to figure out what will cause a big move. That's what we've made a fuck ton of money on throughout these years, right? So it's pretty much boiling down to extremes. This is the first theory that kind of has a little bit of juice to it. And that's why I'm saying, let's see, and that's why I'm sharing this with you, because the ones that are extremely positioned to that long side, if they have a big earnings, even if it's miniature, people are getting excited and it's fucking going crazy. And then if it's heavily shorted and it's bad or good, it's causing a massive reaction. But then do you short or long? You go back to what I originally taught you. Then you just go apply the 2 standard deviation strategy as you were already trained. Ta-da! Keep it cheap. Know how to find the price, and then that's it. But now we could avoid the ones that are going to cuck us. You see what I'm saying? Imagine if we had some little gauge to help us avoid a couple of those. And then we still get to hit with low risk, high reward. So this could be really good. This might open up a fucking runway for us right now if this actually hits. You know what I'm saying? It really might. And this is the biggest week of fucking earnings for the next 3 months. So I really hope this helps. So that is for Thursday. And now, Friday. So here's the last one. Only one. That's it. There's a couple on Friday. Friday earnings suck. Cigna, though. That one stood out. Healthcare, kind of high positioning. I think that could be good. But I think that's all. I think I'm out of pretty pictures now. I think I've exhausted. It took me 62 minutes, but I think I've exhausted all pretty pictures. And yeah, that is it. And let's see what happens on earnings. I don't have the ones that already reported. No, that's the problem. So other than that, Chad, do you have any questions? So we've gone over a shit ton today. Like I said, I had a lot to dump on you, from the 100 days to the data all the way down to just positioning the market, the rally. How do we backwards engineer the positioning score? I mean, you could ghetto backwards engineer it. You know, if you like legitimately wanted to do it, you would need a lot of data, aka S3 partners, and that costs like $2,500 a month on top of a Bloomberg subscription. So other than that, it would just be short interest and long insider buys and just like overall retail percentage of activity and just overcrowding versus over shorting. That is kind of how they do it. But that is their quote unquote, that's their model. They have their own. So that's what I'm saying. That's why I started this off by telling you I don't really fuck with people. I don't really like people's models, and everybody's a bunch of bullshit. I like to take info, but This one caught my attention. And for how much I know about earnings and all the videos, and the fact of the matter is, right now, the reality, this is a wickedly weird earnings. I mean, I don't care what anybody tells you. The data is there. You see it. You fucking see it. Even with Tesla. Explain that one, motherfucker. Everybody got to answer to that. And I think that just highlights this point. And again, Tesla probably heavily positioned. So I think that is important. So yeah, but we'll see. And we got 3 days to see what happens. And this could be an opportunity. Maybe it's not. But either way, at least we got some info, bro. I don't think it fluctuates daily. No. And I believe they only do this for earnings. That's what I'm saying. Goldman started doing this, bro. They noticed this and they're like, yeah, so here's what we did. And then it's funny because 90% of it is what I've already taught you. From one standard deviation, nobody fucking does. Dude, literally. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's why I'm like, all right, well, you're in my neighborhood. And I have the same question that they have. I'm like, well, wait a minute. This is a really oddly bad earnings, you know? So what is the answer? And if I can't answer it, I'm gonna see what they come up with. And I like it. That's why I'm going to see what happens. But like I said, we only got 3 days. So we'll find out very shortly. That's the beauty. You don't have to wait too long. So we'll see. I made a cute chart. Yeah, they just put some models behind it and all that. But this is the clients. That's what I'm saying, bro. They sending this to every private client. The shit, I would sit up there publicly and break out my calculator, do it all ghetto, and it's crazy, bro. Crazy. But what else we got? Any other questions? But it has been an hour. I'm not good, though. I'm tired as fuck, bro. That workout is great. It does feel crimey. Well, the sad part is that you guys think it feels crimey that I show you that. But when I tell you it like 2 years in advance, it's not. And then when they copy us all and then fuck it all up, that's, I don't know. Either way, I like it. I have a lot of fun, you guys, you know? And I like info, man, and I truly hope you do too. And I'm very excited, bro, and we're just, like, it's shit like this, bro. Do you know, like, for real, I was thinking about this the other day. If so many motherfuckers beyond, like, the Chads who we've really had, like, good impacts with, you know what I'm saying? Because, like, I've seen a lot of lives change through this, man. It's very humbling. But imagine all this shit that I be, like, calling out, and then I see it on TV, and then we call it out, again, telling you transitory, let's get rich off inflation. Bro, I would have quit if motherfuckers didn't validate everything I've been saying year after year. I don't think y'all feel me, bro. Do you not realize how much we are in the fucking neighborhood? That's what I've realized. That's what I'm saying. What do you think deep down is in me? Do you not realize we are fucking knocking on that door every time? We are in that fucking every damn time, bro. That's what I'm saying. I would have quit, bro. If I was really that batshit wrong out in left field with these ideas and it wasn't fucking popping up left and damn right every fucking month or year or half a decade, I would But that's what I'm saying, bro. One after the next, bro. We're talking about this, and then it's that, and then it's that. That's why I'm like, come on, bro. But that's why, too. That's why I did get bothered by, that's why I'm telling y'all. Listen, dude, again, you got people, and I'm grateful. You have a chat, he's saying $1 million a month he's making. And he's working business. He's just long-term. It's amazing. And I love it, man. And you have some very successful people in the chat. But, dude, I started this for people who were in the position that I was in when I was a little kid, bro. And I didn't know this shit. I didn't have people to help me. Everybody wanted something from me, you know? But that's what I'm saying. Like, bro, we have to use it. And you have to use it, bro. I'm sick of this shit. Why are you letting motherfuckers with millions of dollars take the information more seriously than you? I can't believe it. That's so, bro, that's enough to turn me into Samson. You know that? That's some flip table shit, bro. Fuck all that. Because that's crazy. That's what I'm saying, though. And, like, it's just so wild because you hear it from, I know I'm not the typical gift wrapping, you know what I'm saying? You know, and I know I'm a little rough around the edges, and you're like, what the fuck is this no face guy and all of that? But, oh, dude, it's just like, it's so, do you know how, by the millions at this point, how many people I've encountered where it's just like, nah, fuck that. It's like, dude, some people didn't want it at 1/10 of the price. But the minute somebody with a bad intention to sell it to them at 10x the price, they'll do it. Then they'll listen. Then they'll get excited. Then they'll strap in and lock in if they're paying for a course and all that. So, point is, bro, all of this stuff, there's very useful stuff over the years, but again, you're just watching it pop up all over. But especially for those of you who have locked in with me in earnings and you have watched the tutorial and stand again for years, bro. Go back to the 2018 Tesla video, for crying out loud. But, you know, that's what I'm saying. Like, bro, this is your opportunity. And let's use it everywhere, all around the board, bro. And that's why I'm saying houses, real estate. I told them all buy houses. BlackRock bought fucking houses, bro. You know? So, let's go, baby. Then this is why I'm saying we got a couple of good years of opportunity. Even if the years are bad, that will be good if you got your head in the right place. So, let's go, baby. But, little end of the day rant. Any other questions? Any other questions? Now's the moment. They might move back to Mag 7. That's what I'm worried about. And that's what we said. If the earnings does that, that'll be a really big theme. And that's how you frustrate a lot of people. Because a lot of people will be caught off guard. Goal includes options. I think they have some metric towards options. It's not the full weighting, but they factor that in. But not as much. I think it's pure equity. Hey, well, God is good. I'm not a good person, but God is. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't think I've done it the best. And that's the beauty. That's how you know it's God. I did it in my own human way. And I think my humanity showed, and I think it highlights the fact that you know where my heart's at, and you've seen some of the good stuff too. It's like, you know, I don't think I'm the best person, but God is good. And I still think we had some good things. And that's the beauty of it. And that's why it's not, at the end of the day, that's why I don't give a shit. You know, that's why it's in God's hands, bro. All in. So Wall Street, you're forgiven. You know that? Because it's only the Lord that allows this. No one else. So don't ever, I'm aware of that, you know, that's why. So deep down, I got to get that little Jonah out of me and stop, you know, because it's the Lord who determines it all. And that's the reality in my mind. You know, that's all. Like I said, though, you know, I got a little Samson in me sometimes, you know, but it is what it is. Save a long term. Save and get a long term. Let me see. Because we should go over the long term. I think that'll be the final one. Because get a long, and can I give you a warning right now? I said this all week, bro. There is an epidemic of people who are trying to cheat. I figured it out today. I've really fucking figured it out. Because once again, dude, it happened again today. Motherfuckers are like, I'm selling to buy this. That's it. I was like, what do you mean? They're like, I'm selling one stock to buy another stock in my long term. So I'm like, you committed for 10 years, breaking that commitment, and then you're going to go buy another one. And then they'll try to say something like, oh, well, it's value, it's dividend, it's this, it's that, right? I figured it out now, bro. The only reason you do that is if you are lazy. They're not trading. They're being lazy. They're trying to cheat. Because you know what you do? What are the rules? If you don't want to buy something or you don't sell it, if you committed to buy it for 10 years. Yeah. Exactly. So you can't sell. You could stop buying that stock. But that means the only way you could buy more, you have to go through discipline, time, and patience. You have to save up more. You have to wait for it. You have to appreciate it more. Y'all don't get it, see? Because look, you sell out now, put it in, you cheated. You didn't have any discipline. You didn't wait. You broke the rules. And then you move on in. Instant gratification. You don't even value it. You know why? You just taught yourself, oh, I could just get rid of it and just, yeah, it'll be there right away. No. How are you going to feel if you had to wait 3 months to buy something? Or you think you're just going to fucking FOMO that shit into some dumb stock because you felt some way? No. Because you're like, whoa, hold on. I have to really think about my actions. Because if I don't, I won't have cash and I'll have to wait. And then I'll miss out opportunities. You see what I'm saying? You're even robbing yourself the opportunity to value your deposit. Oh, y'all don't feel me, bro. It's sad. It's terrible. I've seen it. I've seen it 20 times this week, bro. And I'll be yelling at him, too. And it's okay. I'm not like, what am I going to... You guys think I give a shit? I'm fucking... God is good, bro. It's just like, I know it's going to happen. I already know. And I have zero sympathy. Nobody does anymore. That's what I'm saying. It's not going to be, oh, you should have done... You already know the answer. This isn't it. This is not the way to do it, Chad. I promise you. Because this, you need discipline. There's a way. You want to buy something, you don't have cash, bro. You need to learn to control FOMO. Only FOMO is saying you're going to miss out. You're going to miss out. No. Just sell it. You don't have time. Only FOMO is telling you you can't save up 3 months. Only FOMO is telling you you can't save. You see what I'm saying? It's a lack of discipline, and it is a lack of emotional control, and it is a glaring flaw if you're telling me you want to build this fucking long term. Are you guys understanding me? Because you're violating it so bad in every corner. You're breaking the 10-year rule. You're not sticking to your plan. You're not thinking about what you're buying. Otherwise, you wouldn't be selling it. You're not giving yourself the time or patience. You're responding to FOMO. It's like, dude, you're checking the list of everything. This, all it does is reinforce the worst parts. So, yeah, you can't do that, bro. That's what I'm saying. It's something that it's not going to be good, and I don't know why. I don't think anybody... Let me put it this way. When was the last time any Chad was like, Josh, I sold out of my one stock to buy another, and I violated the long-term rules, and I am so glad. I don't think I have actually had somebody tell me that. They've said they bought NVIDIA and other things, but most of the time it's never been, oh, yeah, Josh, I sold out and moved it, and I'm so happy that I did. Again, I've heard this story many times, but that's why I'm telling you, the response is literally the same. This outcome, it's kind of crazy. Selling and buying property is always acceptable. I'm talking about selling a stock before 10 years to buy another stock. Dude, that's why. That's, man. You fucking, with your 7 ex-wives telling me the 8th one gonna work. Fuck you. You damn. You know what I'm saying, bro? They playing with me. That's why I'm like, come on. So okay, so rock me through this. Okay, hear me out. So I committed for 10 years minimum. I lasted about a year, if that. But now, no, this time, no, because it went bad. So this time, I'm going to go in, and this one I'm going to stay with for 10 years. I don't believe you. You see what I'm saying? It's just like when I see these people talk about discipline and money and management, they weigh 300 pounds. I don't believe you. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to judge and make fun of anybody. I just don't believe you. And I think it is very irresponsible. And I think there is a lack of accountability, and it is sending the wrong message to people. And even to yourself. That's what I'm saying. Don't do this. Don't do this, bro. Don't do this. But I'll see you at the end of the year. That's it, man. Everything. The good and bad will grow at the same time. That's it. If you don't hear my words, I will see you at the end of the year. That doesn't mean I'm going to ban you. It just means, unfortunately, that's all we could do. That's it. You're going to do it. You're going to live with it, and time will show the answer. But it is your future. Yeah, that's the sad part. It's the future. That's why I said we'll compare it. Again, I had a lot of people tell me I'm political. I wouldn't have outperformed if that was the case. There's a lot of things. If all the years we went through, I could show you the fruit. So you got to be it. We're going to compare the fruit at the end. So you have to think about that. This is not, and it's your future. It's not a game. And let me just tell you this. I've told you all of this from day one. You are better off saying you are not going to do something than to say you're going to do it and not do it. What's the point of LARPing around as a long term if we're not going to hold it for 10 years minimum? You are live action role playing. It is a LARP. Do you get what I'm saying? I can't. It's a glorified swing trading account if you're not following the rules. So trust me. But at the end of the day, you are not required to trust anybody. You must find the truth on your own. So I will see you at the end of the year for that one. But other than that, Chad, get your long term, hold it, and literally doing absolutely nothing. We were great, bro. Couple deposits, maybe buy, we wait for a little bit. That's it. Look, it's not bad. Bro, we're massively up on the year compared to the rest of the world. And we've added another 5% of cash to our account. That's crazy. Again, go look all the small accounts, bro. It's nuts. Wow, you got everything, bro. Everything's chilling, bro. You still got down payments. You got houses. You got all of it. But what are you going to do with it? But that's what I'm saying. You don't got to do much. But it's just holding, man. I'm telling you. Nobody is special. I am not special. I didn't do anything special. Sadly, the only thing special that I did was follow the rules in a world that refuses to. That's it. You know that, right? You know, and you got people. That's what I'm saying. People want to sell. People want to do this. They want to. It's like, dude, you don't have to reinvent the wheel. Bro, I'm telling you, if you could faithfully just stick to the plan, you'll win. Most people can't do that. You understand? Like, you just follow 3 simple rules to the T. Most humans cannot do that. Do you understand? That's all you have to do. Most people are not willing. The world, their friends, everything tells them, no, you could do this. You could do that. Oh, no. Do that later. Do that. All you got to do is just follow the fucking... That's all I did. That was special. That's it. That's all you've seen me do. Everything else is added to it. I don't care what play, all this stock knowledge. Because guess what? Imagine all of my knowledge that I have and I've shared with you. What if my ass didn't follow rules? What if mama didn't beat me growing up? And what if I was a little badass little kid? And up until my adult years, and I'm like, Think about it. What a waste of all my talents and gifts. Because I couldn't stick to a fucking plan. Bro, that pisses me off. You know that? Oh, dude, some of y'all, man, I love you, bro. But don't let me get more bothered by this than you. For your sake. You get what I'm saying? Bro, you have it all. Bro, you have it all right now. You have it all. The only thing you're lacking is following the rules, discipline. That's it. It's kind of mind-blowing. I don't know if I thought Trump was live earlier, but I'm going to bed, bro. Fuck that. I got places to be, dreams to see, you know. So yeah, let's go, baby. And I'm excited. But that's what I'm saying, bro. Tap into it. And that's why, too, if you ever want to wonder about my attitude, do you see why? Do you see why it's better if I push you than not? Because some of you have everything, and all you're lacking is the discipline. Last thing you fucking need in your ear is somebody telling you, you'll be all right. Chill out. One little, fuck it. Who cares? No. Fuck that, dude. You have a golden fucking ticket. All you got to do is sit in the chair and put your seatbelt on. Just listen to the instructions. I don't care if everybody's moving around you. Fuck them all. They don't care. Do you see what I'm saying? You guys have the ability. I swear to you. Some of you have way more, and you have talent and gifts and all of it. But without discipline, without applying these rules, it is, my goodness, is it useless. You could get a little bit, but it always ends in a crash. Always. Okay? So, Chad, you better think about this when you go to bed tonight. And very positively. And you should be like, man, I do have that. Oh my God, that's it. Your problem wasn't, you're not dumb. You think you're broke, bro? You're on the fucking internet in America. The things you could do right now. It's not any of these reasons. You think it's your friends, you think it's your mom, your family. No. Discipline. That's it. If you said, I'm going to do this and did it every single time. If you followed rules. That's it. Held yourself accountable. Held yourself to a high standard. Those are the things missing. Not everything else. So that's very exciting. I was excited. I get excited every time I realize this. This is how I grow more and more. I realize it too. That's it. There's more. Discipline. That's all you need to do. But stick to the fucking plan. If you can't do that, bro, it's unnecessarily confusing. So Chattadonia, my goodness, are you blessed? And maybe that makes a little more sense now. I hope it does. But we're going to wrap it up there. This was a wild watch list of many, many things. But I love you, and I hope you have a wonderful evening. I will see you in the morning, God willing. But take that one to the bank. That is your watch list. Finger to the sky. For real, man. And that's it. You know what it is. None of it. We're all shit, bro. Excuse my language, but that should highlight my point. It's God, baby. So I don't care, man. Get some peace. If it's racking your mind, just throw it in the air, bro. God will get it, man. Don't worry. And that's finger to the sky on everything, bro. So I love you. And God be the glory, baby. Enjoy your evening. And hard on.